Well, I've got to say that this is getting a bit silly now. After three consecutive promotions, we are now 15 games unbeaten in the Championship. We're in 8th place in our debut season in the second tier, and our squad is absolutely flying in spite of injuries. We've got two big games today, including the leaders at home. So let's just see how we get on. But if we're unbeaten at the end of this one, I'm going to start to be a little bit frustrated. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 38 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back today in a lofty position in a championship table, and to be fair, Rotherham, who came up in the playoffs behind us, just 7 points behind and in the top half as well. Birmingham comfortably safe. It's been a weak championship season, but we are back to play away at Ipswich and at home to leaders Nottingham Forest, who cruelly beat us on the opening day. So if you're looking forward to that, as we hopefully get our youth intake as well, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Since you were last with me, we've not had any signings despite the temptation of one. But what has happened is the unbeaten run has continued, despite most of those results actually being draws. So let's go and start with the transfer window, because we were having a look at Vinicius Souza in addition to Sonny Perkins, who we signed at the end of the last episode. No further players went out, albeit a couple were doing well out on loan. But Vinicius Souza, we got his scout report through, poor stamina, and most importantly, problems with injury. So I opted against signing him in his late 20s. What we do have, though, is a continued unbeaten run, because if we look at the schedule since you were last here, I mean, it just gets sillier and sillier. We have got, one goal conceded in our last 4 games. We've not lost to any of the teams, despite playing the likes of Norwich, Wolves and West Ham, who are all up there. We've got another one in Forest today. But these are the results in full. You were with me for the Watford win. We then battered Huddersfield 4-1. Joe Hugill got a brace with Diblin and Presley adding one apiece. We won away at Oxford with Ferry and Baggett getting the goals. We did fall behind early in that one though. Away at West Ham, probably performance of the season. Mohamed Kudus scored their goal, but a Jayden Dan's brace. He rejected that move away. It's cost us a lot. But the fortunate side of that is that on the pitch, we've got a much better team with him. Dylan Smith even got one off the bench there. Before against Norwich, we drew 2-2 on the road. It was Jack Morehouse and Harrison Parker, as Sargent and Kilman got their goals. Against Coventry, a solid 0-0 draw. Against Wolves, a 1-1 draw. Archie Gray equalising late after Tyler Goodrum got himself a goal. A 0-0 against Blackburn again, solid goalkeeping performance and a missed penalty from Morehouse before a 1-0 win at Reading, and this time he did deliver from the spot. Morehouse gave us the win as Joe Hugill picked up a knock. So the unbeaten run continues. It stretches back to Fulham, which was around the time 2 episodes ago when we had that draw with Luton and a narrow defeat to Birmingham. But that home run of 4 games over Christmas, since then we've been unstoppable. And it does seem a little bit weird, but I'm a little bit annoyed because it's easier than it should be, but I can't complain. His squad is doing well, it is what it is, and I have to make the most of it. I do want to reflect on one thing very quickly though, because it goes back to the last episode with his Jayden Dan's rejecting the big move to Sunderland. He's now complaining that he wants a new deal to reflect his ability. Well, Sunderland offered you one of them, mate, but hopefully in the summer, someone will come in for him, I don't know. But the biggest thing to note from this is I went back to the Hemel Hempstead save, our last English one club story from 2 years ago, and I even had a look at the Woking save from FM23 on Twitch, and in both of those, by the time we got to the Championship, we'd sold 5 or more players for £1 million or more. Now here we lost Jack Kingdon early doors, from our first team that is, but we've not really had any other offers, let alone players leaving prior to Jayden Dan's. If you look at some of these younger players who have been in form at the club, and you look at Dan's for multiple years, but Presley before, Daniel Rose in goal, a great example, Stephen Parks, who was linked with a move at one point as well, none of them ever really materialised into offers, and I wonder if that's the thing in this year's FM. Jack Morehouse probably falls into that category as well. These are players who are doing really well, have contributed to 2 or 3 promotions, depending on how long they've been here, and they're still competing now at the higher level after we've made it. But none of them are really getting interest from elsewhere, and that Dan's offer on deadline day in January was probably the first one we saw. So I find that a little bit surprising, and maybe the biggest reasoning for our improved success here compared to, say, the Hemel Hempstead save. But of course, we did have a better infrastructure with Southend, and getting them back to League One was probably about rightful. Now we're overachieving very quickly. One bit of bad news we've had since the last episode, though, is Ben Gleeson. He was out of contract at the end of the year. We made an offer to City, which was accepted. Think about 300 grand, don't quote me on the price. But Hibs came in. They, of course, being from Scotland, can offer him a contract 6 months before, whereas we could only do it 1 month before. And that means that he has agreed to go there and we'll join them in the summer, which is a shame. He's played well for us. He's got a good personality, and I would have liked to have kept him about. For Harrison Parker, there is interest from elsewhere as well. He's out of contract at the end of this season, so I think there's going to be a fight for his name. And he has become the best centre-half at the club, even better than Jarell Quansah. And I think that might be an issue for us. Again, losing a star player in this summer. So maybe next year will get harder, I don't know. We've got Perkins and Hugill amongst the striker injuries today. Josh Brookin is still out as well. So we're a little bit depleted. We're not quite as strong as you might have expected. With 2 games over the next 4 days, we've got a real opportunity to keep doing well. We're going to go for the Ipswich game and see how it progresses, as Gleeson may be fit, but I'll probably give him a breather. Brookin's not quite made it. They're playing 4-3-3, but look at the stars they've got in midfield. Redondo, current star of our Twitch save with Luton, playing regular Premier League football there. They've got Masengo in midfield. Anyone who followed the Bristol City save in FM23, I'll put it up in the eye above. He was a superstar in that one. And then probably the first big money sale as well. Troy Parrott up front, we also had with Bristol City in that save. There are some familiar names. But for now, let's go and get through to the team selection. We'll see who we can put out today. It's going to be an interesting one, this. We'll be back in a minute to run through the team that's going away to Suffolk. Well, the new assistant manager is clearly unhappy about this one, getting up ready to do a run-up. But this is the team that we've gone for. 8 subs, and one of them in Jayden Dans is not fully fit. I mean, I might as well chuck the third keeper on, mightn't I? In fact, have we got anyone in the youth team? Because we've done that a couple of times. Wolfenden's not too bad. Byron would be a striker option, but I just think we've got to cut our losses. Sonny Hilton, at a push, can play up front. The rest of it, I mean, they're not good enough to even make the bench, are they? So this is the team we've gone for in full. A few changes from our last fixture. A rare outing up front for Tyler Diblin, who's joined by the returning Aaron Presley. McKinstry is on the left, but it is Goodrum in on the right. He replaces Dans, with Diblin moving up front there. Morehouse and Russell Denny are the midfield too, because Gleeson was just struggling a little bit with fitness, so no risk need to be taken there. Williams and Park stay at fullback. Daniel Rose is in goal, and it's Dylan Smith in for the knackered Harrison Parker, and he will join Quansah as centre-half. So let's see how we get on in the 4-4-2 today. Generally, we've not always played well, but we've been picking up results. But with a few key injuries in the team this time, 4 or 5 first teamers out. Let's go and see how we get on. Well, 6 changes for Ipswich Town, with the likes of Twan Zabi coming back in, Christian Walton, a well-known keeper, Nathan Broadhead, another original as well. Wolfenden dropping out, James Bree, part of the squad, but not the lineup today. Ellis Sims among the subs. I mean, they've got quality everywhere, haven't they? George Hurst still there as well. So let's say you've been on a good run. What can you do for me in this one? The Ipswich Stadium not packed, maybe not having quite the same eventful experience they are in real life. But we've got 5 minutes in. We've had the only shot so far. Let's hope we can keep it tight again, because the last 4 games, 0-0 or 1-0s, but we have turned off the game since, and we all know what that means, as Twan Zabi picks it up on the right, beats his man. Russell Denny tried to foul him. Masengo in, and Morehouse did foul him. Penalty kick with 8 minutes gone. We saw the last 2 games. We scored a penalty winner. We missed the chance to win one with a penalty. And now it's a penalty against. There's been so many more since the last couple of updates. Broadhead sends Rose the wrong way. His first goal of the season. Of course it is. Always happens against us. And we're 1-0 down. Maybe a bit of reality is going to bite in this one, because after this game we've got the leaders. And I say what I said earlier in the season, I'm almost hoping that we have a few challenges at some point. I do feel our squad will end up being weaker next year, but it's all been a bit too comfortable for a first year in a championship. And I know that Sunderland and Ipswich have done it in recent years in real life, but it shouldn't be that way with a club with this budget, and especially after 3 successive promotions. But Diblin has won it for Presley, and we're on the front foot here. Half an hour gone. We're still in this game, don't be fooled. Williams picks it up on the right, and it's inside to the centre-half Kwanzaa. He finds Dylan Smith into the team today, who gives it to Parks at left-back, and now McKinstry up to Tyler Diblin, who beats his man. Two in the middle, Presley's won. And Aaron Presley, excuse my voice going, has made it 1-1 with 31 on the clock. Back in the team, League One quality at best. And he's delivering the goals. We're back on terms. This side just doesn't like being beaten. It's an incredibly good gift to have, even when you're not playing that well. To have one shot on target and one goal. To nick games with a penalty when you're playing poorly. It's a wonderful habit for a football team to have. And again, we're keeping the unbeaten run going as it stands. And I'd be thrilled with that as Williams tries to get the cross in. Blocked away to Conceição, but look at that work from McKinstry. Goodrum picks it up for Diblin. On his left foot and over. I mean, this is with our starting strikers, Dans and Hugill, both out of the squad today. I know Dans is sitting there half fit on the bench, but it's a ridiculous effort in the circumstances. And as we approach the hour mark, we're starting to dominate here. As Russell Denny gets it left to McKinstry, who takes on his fullback. Good ball in, just over hit. Goodrum will keep it in though. Has the option down the line. Williams overlapping. Presley's in the middle. Blocked to McKinstry. That one's off the line as well. Masengo just hacks clear. We're knocking the door down now. The expected goals is almost 2. Ipswich have offered very little bar the penalty. But as I say that, we return with them going down the wing. We've got a few players running out of steam here. Might need to be subs in a minute. The sweep goes wide to Conceição. He cuts it inside. Dylan Smith does really well. Morehouse finds Diblin. Carries it forward again. Tyler Diblin down the left. Chance to beat his man. Gets towards the byline with McKinstry. Ball across. Twanzebe does well. And again, just hoofed clear as far as Parks. Russell Denny brings it down. He'll be coming off in a minute. He gives it to Dylan Smith at the back. And now Kwanzaa. It is all Southend United. And again, you are watching us match a good championship side. Williams down the right. Ball into Diblin. And there you go. He's only played up front about 3 times this season, but whenever he does, he scores. It's a super move. It's wonderful football. It was 5 minutes of territory, dominance and possession. We'll go and make some changes now. It will be Ishmael on at left back. Williams will come off, I think. How long did it say Brooking was injured for? He is back in 6 days, right? So he's not going to make the weekend. We'll go Kwanzaa right back for now. We'll move Smith to right centre-half and put Baggett on left centre-half. We're also going to replace Russell Denny with Roddy McGregor. We're going to bring Will Ferry on for McKinstry. And we've got one more sub if we need it. But what an effort again. What a performance. What a display. It's a shame we haven't got another option at right back. But I'm going to take off Morehouse for Gleeson. I know the strikers are struggling, but Dan's will be alright at the weekend. And with 10 minutes to go, I can only say the same again. We just never look like losing a game. As Goodrum puts the corner in, Walton does well. I say that, we're now going to do it, are we? Oh, it's a penalty. Where the hell's that come from? Aaron Presley has a penalty. The keeper just caught the corner. I told you there's been a lot of penalties since the update, didn't I? Presley sends Walton the wrong way. Worryingly now, we've even found our goal scoring form again. I'm almost starting to panic and think we might make the playoffs here because I always just assumed it would be a bit far away, but we just don't stop winning. Goodrum has got a free kick. He could get even better. If he gets it over the wall, it's off the woodwork. Dylan Smith up, loses the header, and Redondo gets it clear. But you've seen the quality of their midfield. We shouldn't be doing this to these teams. 5 minutes added on. We've not even got to worry about wasting time or slowing it down. We're comfortable. It is 16 championship games unbeaten. We've got the leaders at home next. And as it stands, we're in 7th place with 4 points off the playoffs. And I just don't understand how it's happening. I've got to be honest with you. We have not got a team that is that good. It's a great sign for the future, but Aaron Presley's popped up with another 2. He scored 9 in 15 starts. He's an average League One player. We're playing to his strengths, yes, but this is becoming a little bit spectacular. Let's go and see how we get on against the leaders. Surely, if anyone's going to humble us, it will be Nottingham Forest, who, by the way, are no longer the leaders. Well, here are the fitness tests as the league leaders arrive in town, and I don't think we're surprised, are we? Hugill and Brooking have not made it. Perkins has failed a fitness test despite having full condition. So let's just see what we can put out. They're going pretty aggressive. They pipped us to a signing in January as well. We had a go at James McAtee, who was available as a free agent, and he of course has chosen to go for Forest for 30 grand a week rather than joining us for 6. Who would have done that? But they've got a good team out. Still a few of the originals. Taiwo Awani, Sangare's there. Murillo at the back. But then you add in the likes of Roden. You add in Muric. You add in Jones. This is a very good side. Jack Harrison on the left as well. So sold out Steve Tilson Park. There's going to be a fair few changes here. We're going to stick with our normal 4-4-2, I think. Because Kwanzaa's struggling. And I wonder if we can play a back three in that circumstance. I mean, ideally, I would like to play with the 2 wide men and a striker. And you know what? I think I might do it. We're going to switch to the defensive one. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, we've done what we can here to keep things fresh, but also keep the 11 as strong as possible. We've had to make changes at the back. Parker is back fit, which is a bonus. Kwanzaa is not fit, which is a problem. We've also brought Gleeson back in the middle for Morehouse, who's got a heavy match load. And the casualty of all of this, I'm afraid, is McKinstry. He was struggling with his match load. He wasn't in the best form. And with Goodrum and Diblin able to play out wide, he is the lone player who misses out for Dylan Smith to start. Presley is the man up front with left hands on the bench again. We need to build up his fitness a bit. But this is the team we've gone for. The changes from the last game, I'll try and get them all right. Gleeson is in for Morehouse in central midfield. Baggett is in and Parker are in. And they replace Kwanzaa and the extra striker, which will have been McKinstry, with Diblin moving out to the left. So that's our team for today. We host Nottingham Forest, the leaders. And if we win this one, reluctantly, we probably do have to start talking about the playoffs. What I'd hope is that we lose it and it will just be a comfortable mid-table finish, because ultimately that is far better for the realism of the game. Let's go and get through the match preview, see how we get on. Forest have packed out the away end. It's going to be a good match, this. But can we contain them? We all remember what happened on the first day of the season. I celebrated in the 93rd minute and they scored in the 94th. But we gave them a game, and since then, that result looks even better. They were held in midweek by Rotherham, our fellow promoted side. So let's see if we can do the same to them here as Harrison gets away down the left. Surely the the unbeaten run has got to come to an end. And it's another penalty. It is another penalty. Honestly, since the last updates, it has been every game there's been a penalty. It's ridiculous. Chief is stepping up. He should score it. He does score it. Is the silly 16-game run finally going to come to an end against the leaders? Surely it is. They're going to win the league. They're going to get promoted. And if anyone's going to beat us, it should be them. Well, 10 minutes to the break, and it's been a pretty quiet game so far. Not many chances at either end, though they are coming forward again here, Forest, and they look the more threatening. And now I think the run is over. We've conceded 2. We are a couple of goals down. And this Forest side, definitely the best on the league on paper. They're finally showing that quality to put us to the sword. They've only had the 2 shots on target, but they've been good opportunities. And they deserve their 2-goal lead as we head into 2 minutes of stoppage time. Can we find a route back from this one? If we don't lose this game, then we really have got miracle workers. As Goodrum, in down the right, it's another penalty. I mean, this one's to us and I'm still frustrated. How many penalties do you want? Aaron Presley will step up. He scored one in the last game. Can he do it here? Yes, he can. He sends Muric the wrong way. 12th goal of the season for him. And on a stroke of half-time, just maybe we're doing it again. They've been the 2 worst performers as well. They've got back on it there. And at half-time, we're back in this game. Not been dominant from Forest. It's been a nothing game in truth, but 4 shots on target. 3 of them have gone in. And I guess if anything, at least we've got some strong players on the bench as Williams throws into Dylan Smith here. He finds Russell Denny. Smith again. Options inside include Parker, who we know is good on the ball here. Plays into Smith again, and we're just composed on it. We're not trying to rush this. Dylan Smith can break away now to Gleeson, though. We've got the run on the right from Goodrum. Good ball down to him as well. In the middle is Presley. It's a good ball in. Aaron Presley is 2-2. Even against the leaders. From 2-0 down. We just refuse to be beaten. I'm genuinely starting to believe that this side is invincible. 17 games this will be. And even when I'm trying not to be aggressive, we're managing to come back from 2 down. We've got 25 to go. We'll take off Presley for Jayden Dans. We'll give Sonny Hilton or Ferry a run out. I think we'll go Ferry. We're going to take Williams off at right wing back. But again, who have we got to bring on? Probably not going to be him. And we'll take off Russell Denny for now for Roddy McGregor. 3 changes made. And this is ridiculous. It's Nottingham Forest with a throw. I'm almost pleading with them to win the game. Parks picks the ball up at left back. Just hoofs it down the line. Sangare gets there first. And McAtee, where's his magic? Goes back to Sheaf, the first goal scorer. Out to Asau on the left. Ball across the box. Great one as well. Keeper got beaten by the corridor of uncertainty there. And Taiwo Awani puts Forest back ahead. Maybe those changes were just a bit early, but this has been ridiculous. 5 of the 6 shots on target have gone in. And now we're back up the other end with a free kick for Goodrum. What's he going to do with it? Plays to McGregor. Chance to shoot. McGregor. Back to Gleeson. Just over the bar. We've got 15 minutes to go. I am going to make subs. We're going to go Ishmael on for Parks. We're going to go Goodrum off for Hilton. We've got a lot of the League One and older legends on now. So let's see how they cope here. Because if you look at the stats for the game, it's been relatively even, hasn't it? We're going to encourage them because against the best side in the league, this has been another Herculean effort. Maybe we're just missing Kwanzaa a bit here. Rose and Parker have had poor games. We can't normally afford that. We don't normally have it, in fairness. But here come Forest again. They've got it where they want it in stoppage time. It's chipped into the back post. Ishmael half away. Only as far as Isaiah Jones, who curls it wide. We might as well go attack him for the last 3 minutes. But it's not to be. The run finally comes to an end. But my word, we've given these teams a run for their money. 16 championship games unbeaten. We come up against the leaders. We go 2-0 down. Still come back from it. And just fall away to a 3-2 defeat. What a pathetic, pathetic run. I have no idea how we're doing it. I mean it in a good way, but how are we there? That should be enough for our playoff hopes now because 7 points is a big gap with 6 to go. But the fact that we're 29 points clear of the relegation zone is absolutely scandalous. Aaron Presley again, average League One striker on paper, scored 2 goals in this game. And yet again there were 2 penalties. I'd love to know actually. So if we go back now, that game there was 2 penalties. That game there was 2 penalties. There was one against Reading. There was one against Blackburn which was missed. I think before that we had a couple of games without. But then there was 2 in the Norwich game. The West Ham game, maybe there wasn't one. Oxford game there was one. Huddersfield game there wasn't one. And I'm pretty sure in January there was definitely one in the Lincoln game, yeah. And not against Blackpool. So we are in a position now where in the games we've had since the start of January, there's been double figures penalties in the last 15 games. You'll have to count up and tell me how many that was. But what a crazy run. What a first season in the Championship. Forest have just about stopped our run in the end. The first defeat since Birmingham away, well, just over 3 months prior. We've got 6 games to go in this Championship season. We're not going to show many of them. We'll come back for the last one and a little mini season review. We'll look ahead to what we can do in the summer because at that point, we've got to worry about can we get Harrison Parker back? Can we keep any of the loan players? And where are we going to have to rebuild? Because there are a few of these boys who in theory are not good enough. Are we going to get the big offer for Jayden Dans? I don't know. It's going to be a fun old summer, isn't it? But what opposition to be in a league table. If you enjoyed this one, 2 cracking games, a good win at Ipswich and a hard-fought defeat against leaders Forest, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments where you think we'll finish. It's probably going to be now between 7th and 10th, but for a first championship year, that's an incredible effort. And these boys have outdone themselves again. Let me know where, if anywhere, you think the squad needs improving. And if you want to stay up to date and find out how we go in the next few weeks, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. A quick reminder of the festive schedule as it is Christmas Eve. And Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you have a lovely festive break. Tomorrow, we're going to have our little channel end of year review, which we always do on Christmas Day. No video on Boxing Day, but we'll have an extended stream on Twitch. There's no point putting a video out when there's so much football. Just enjoy it. Get the TV out or go to your local team and watch a game. That's all that matters. And then we're going to be back with the normal stories from the 27th of December, starting with the head coach before this one on Thursday. And then we'll do something different around New Year as well. But thank you very much for watching. You can find all the links up in the eye above for this story, the Twitch channel, the football podcast, the head coach playlist, and all of that stuff too. And I'll see you again here in a couple of days' time after we've filled ourselves up with a bit more festive food for a big finish to the season with Southend United and to plan out our summer as we prepare for another year in the Championship.